All right, guys, welcome back. It is your boy Nylock Get Money, your favorite New York financier.
Jeff Epstein.
Yes.
Jeff Epstein.
Yes, the financier.
With the island.
Wait, I mean your favorite Nylock financier. Sorry, bad joke. It's kind of how I cope with things, with evil things going on in the world. Anyway, we are back with episode 2 of Road to 100K. If you haven't seen the first video, make sure you can check that out. But if you are new, basically, this is just a tracking playlist of how my money is working for me. And again, the goal is to get to 100K. So that's what we're doing. So in today's video, we'll be going over the 3 accounts once again. Obviously, the overall portfolio and see what it's doing, as well as kind of talking over the market sentiment at the moment. I think it'll just be nice to just kind of like go through month by month in the future and kind of see where exactly the market is at a certain time. So again, it'll, in like 4 or 5 months from now, we can look back and be like, oh, this is what was going on in the world during then, and then kind of how the market recovered or, crashed, either or. But yeah, let's just get right into it, okay? First, I'm going to go over my M1 Finance account because this is the one that with the biggest changes that I have done. So really quickly, I want to go over what I did in this account. So as you can see, I have actually liquefied my dividend account, my dividend portfolio on this. I wanted to make sure I maxed out my Roth contributions for the past year. So again, if you didn't know, in your Roth IRA, you can contribute to last year's contribution up until like the tax deadline, so like April. So I'm thinking, why do I have 2 brokerage accounts, like 2 taxable brokerage accounts, and I haven't even maxed out my Roth? So technically, I have now maxed out my contributions for last year, and it gave me a little bit of money towards this year's contributions. If I go over to my dividend account, so obviously there's like $2 left in there, but the other reason we liquefied it, again, obviously to max out the Roth, but the other reason is, for me personally at this moment, I think I'm more interested in growth than I actually do strictly dividend. Benchmarked my performance in my Roth with, these specific stocks and these companies. I was performing way beyond the dividend portfolio. I wasn't also adding to those positions on my dividend account, so you can also argue that as well. However, just in the nature of them, I was in we can look over it. We were in the Vanguard dividend appreciation. We got American Express, Coca-Cola, Intuit. That was obviously a new position that we got in. MasterCard, McDonald's, Texas Roadhouse, Costco, Starbucks. These aren't bad companies, and I'm not mad at them if you are into them. I think more for me, I want to be more centrified with my capital. And again, I hadn't maxed out my Roth contribution, so that's just basically what this is. I have another, Robinhood is my other brokerage account that I should be adding to if I don't max out, once I max out the Roth, okay? And again, I think I was just getting better gains with the companies that are in my Roth anyway. So again, I would rather grow as fast as I can. And then once I get to that growth, once I get a nice goose egg, that's when I turn it into a dividend portfolio, kind of rebalance it. That way, I get to this 100K quicker, and then we can start getting paid dividends. I don't want to just be getting paid dividends on $2,000, right? It's not gonna, that's not giving me enough bankroll. And you're kind of, the opportunity cost isn't there. So I sold out of dividends, and I just kind of put it all throughout this. Again, obviously I boosted the Vanguard, and you can kind of see the holding percentages that I have them at now. So my Roth in totality, I want my Roth to be 50% Vanguard, 25% high dividend ETF. So again, I still kept the ETF, but again, it's not a big position at the moment because again, eventually I'll add to it over time. But right now, we don't need slow growth. We want as fast growth as possible. Damn, I couldn't say that 5 times fast. We got Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla. I did move American Express into the Roth, Apple, and Blackstone. Blackstone is kind of like my iffy Roth right now. I do think they just own everything, so I do like Blackstone. It also gives a pretty hefty dividend. So that's the one company in the Roth that I'm like a little hesitant on, but it is in there. And obviously gold is still in there, and it's been doing pretty well. As you can see, over the month, it's been kind of down. Again, I had all that influx of money from the dividend account, but we mainly put it in the Roth, or mainly put it in the S&P 500. We also added a lot into Microsoft, Meta, and Amazon. So those are the big buys into the Roth, and yeah, that's basically what we got going on. So we'll go over that. So right now it is sitting at $21,630.50. So I also have a new Excel sheet I added in during February. So we'll go into the Excel sheet and I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so as you can see, we have the M1 Finance Roth value in the Excel, or I guess Sheets. Sorry, Google Sheets. I keep calling it Excel. But so all I got to do now is I just put in the amount that the portfolio is currently at, and it'll tell me the gain, loss, money-wise, and the gain percentage-wise. So as you can see in the Roth, it was kind of a rough month, about 1,700 in the red. But it's been a pretty rough month, a pretty rough start to 2026. So again, this is just a tracking tool. I'm not trying to use this as like I'm not going to try and let it affect me. It's supposed to just track, and if there's big movements in the future, then yeah, we might have to take a look. But again, this is just the tracking purposes. So it also takes, I got the deposits here, the total deposits, and yeah, it shows you the total percent in gain. However, the total gain in total percent, the total return percent, I think is a little skewed. I don't know how I did the equation. I don't know if this is the right equation for that. So if you guys know how to like actually get that right, please let me know in the comments. But from February to March, we added 550 into the Roth. That is the total deposits. That's the total gain loss, total percent loss, and the total value. So there's that. And then next we can go to the Robinhood account. All right, so the Robinhood account is currently sitting at $14,844.44. We can go to the month. It says we're up about 11.26%, about 1,500 return, which is really good. I don't add any money to the Robinhood position until I max out the Roth. So, this is just kind of like trading and making sure, trying to get the best bang for my buck in the Robinhood account. If we go to the Netflix option, this has probably been obviously the biggest dictator of this account. But as you can see, it was going down pretty heavily during the Warner Bros. Acquisition. And then as soon as they got out of it, it had skyrocketed back up to like around 90, I believe. Yeah, right above $90. The option is a $85 call, so that's pretty good. It's also all the way until December, right? No, all the way to January. So all the way till next year. So again, we're not going to be selling this position. We're just going to be, this is called a leap. If you don't know what leaps are, I'll try to leave a video in the description of what those are. Shout out Into the Money. And then, yeah, so I'll really quickly go over. I also got a QQ put spread. That's just the case. I'm a little worried about the market right now. That's just a hedge. Not a huge position, but just want to have my bases covered. I bought a little bit of Netflix while it was going down. I'll scroll down to kind of show you guys what I was doing this month. So Uber, Intuit, Blackstone, Dash. As you can see, these are kind of some of the trades I was making. Again, mainly into the QQ. I got back into DoorDash, Spotify. Salesforce is down a lot. Microsoft. Was kind of into Blackstone, but then obviously I put in the Roth, so I kind of took it out of this one. Again, the Robinhood one is I'm super trade heavy in that one, but I don't recommend that to most people. Again, this is just me trying to beat the market, which I don't recommend new people to do. However, this is me trying to use, I'm young, I got time, so let's try to make something happen. So let's take this over to the Robinhood value, the Google Sheet. So I got Robinhood here. As you can see, I put it in $14,844.44. From when I added it, so I know it said like 11% gain on Robinhood. However, this is how it's looking in the Google Sheet. I keep saying Excel. As you can see, no more new deposits, total deposits, and about a $600 return this month, or at least the last time I turned it in, which is about a 4.2% return, which again is good because most of the market is pretty down, like compared to like the Qs and the S&P, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so technically the VU right now, month to month, is down about 2%. Again, this isn't I'm beating the market kind of video. This is just, tracking where it's from the last time I did it. So 4.2% return, that's pretty good. Hopefully our option keeps going up, but that's where we're at. And then last but not least, let's go over the Coinbase account. So I'm not going to record the video on my phone for Coinbase. You'll just have to take my word for it. But Coinbase, as you can see on the Google Sheet, we had deposited $500. So we bought $500 worth of Bitcoin. As you can see, if you look at total gain and total return percentage, obviously it's a little skewed because of the deposits. But it's been one of my best returning assets at the moment. So again, like I said in my first video, like I'm not a big crypto guy. However, it has done me justice in the past. So, confirmation bias, I believe you can call it. But that's why, I mean, you got to take risks to make money. So that's what we're doing with Coinbase. And I bought it at about 73K. I think it's sitting at about like 70 now. So I bought it when it was going up a little bit. And then it's kind of come back down a little bit. So as you can see, it's about a 3%, lost about 3% in Coinbase portfolio. So that is about it for all the accounts. So if we go over real quick, we'll just add those together, and then I'll show you on the Google Sheet how it's looking overall portfolio. Okay, so now I have the overall portfolio. As you can see, I've added the deposits, which was the 500 from Coinbase into Bitcoin, and then the 550 into the Roth, which was just other investments. I should probably also say like the 550 was with the dividends account that I transferred into the Roth. Obviously, it was just spread out within a lot of companies in the Roth. I would say mainly was like American Express, Microsoft, and like the VU. Like if you wanted to pick the stocks for this 550. Moving forward, this should be a lot easier. Like when I add the money into account, I can just tell you exactly what I bought. But right now, obviously, I was mixing and matching a lot of accounts, so it'll be, again, from here on out, it should be smoother per video. But as you can see, from February to March, we lost about $1,200, which was a minus 3.03%, and then total deposits with the deposits for this month. So again, as you guys can see, again, the total gain and total return percent is really skewed every time. Again, I need to look up how, or if you guys can tell me how to like calculate that more precisely. I don't know if it's necessarily wrong how I'm doing it, but I think I'm more looking for like time weighted return versus just like total right off the rip. So if you guys could, again, been asking you guys if you could help me out with that. I'm not a big Sheets or Excel guy, so this is my first time doing it, but I think it's really nice. I really like how this looks. I will be doing this month to month from here on out. And again, I just think it's easier to track it this way. I wish I would have been doing this, for the last couple of years. It's easier to track than like looking at month to month just on the app. This is a lot more easier, the raw numbers when I put them in. All right, so that's it for the account. So yeah, so we're about what? We're at $40,843.95. So we've actually gone down from our road to 100K. So, it's over. It's over, guys. Like, we had a good run, but yeah, we're never going to hit 100K because we're going down. So clearly it's over with. But in all seriousness, we're chilling. We're just going to keep our nose on the grindstone, whatever that meme or saying is. But we're going to keep investing, and now we can kind of go over the market sentiment and kind of just my opinions on the overall market at the moment and like what the big talking points are. So obviously we know software has been getting sold off because of AI concerns and productivity from AI. So, like Salesforce has been sold off a lot. Microsoft, not so much Meta, but like, those software companies, Intuit, like they're thinking AI is just going to completely disrupt their systems, and like you won't need those companies because AI will just do it. Again, I think this is a pretty textbook concern of the market where, this is where people make their money, is people sell out of positions, and, people who want to get into a company now have the opportunity to do that. People are going to like into gold or into other safer assets because of the scare. But, through my time, which is about 6 years now into the market, sentiment like that where people are scared, that's when I have gotten the best deals on companies. Again, I don't have evidence. You're just going to take my word. But back in like 2022, I remember Meta was still, I forget what it was called still. So it hadn't turned Meta yet. It was either I think it was just Facebook or like Instagram, whatever it was called, because I know Facebook is like owned by Instagram. But once they turned to Meta and they had talked about how they were throwing like billions of dollars away into the metaverse and it had seen no returns, Meta stock tanked. It was so bad, like people were selling out of it like crazy. And I think I put nothing crazy. It was like $200 into Meta during that time. And I don't think I've ever made a better trade than that. So again, confirmation bias, whatever you want to call it. With software stocks kind of going down, I see that as a buying opportunity. Again, this is not financial advice, but I have been buying Microsoft a lot and, other software companies like that because of this scare. I'm not too afraid of AI in those particular, I just think Microsoft is just too big of a company to kind of be disrupted like that. Personally. Next, we got the war in Iran. So obviously, if you've paid attention or if you live in the real world, you know that Israel and the United States are at war with Iran. I don't know too much about like the allies of Iran. I'm sorry, guys. But obviously, like, they have allies, and, this war has been going on, and oil prices has skyrocketed because of the, the trade of Iran and them holding down that little area where, oil needs to go through. So again, I don't know exactly all the details clearly, but, it has been affecting the market. Obviously, war for countries is not good for the stock market, historically. However, again, these are like opportunities, right? You got to think of stuff like that. Again, it's horrible to think, I don't want any war. I want world peace. I think, I have my own political opinions on the war. I won't get into today in this video. That's not what this is about. Again, this is just about investing in the portfolio. But for me personally, like, I'm not going to be trading oil. I'm not going to be like trying to like trade the futures of oils and stuff like that. But I'll be looking at companies that I do trust for the long term and see if this affects them, right? That's how I think of my picks in the stock market. Is when I have a stock I really like and it goes on sale, that's when I buy. So again, I'll be looking at stuff like that. So you got the war in Iran, and then I also want to go over Bitcoin, because people are saying there's been sentiment that Epstein actually made Bitcoin, and obviously with the Epstein files and all that stuff going on, again, higher ups being weird. Obviously, I made that joke at the beginning, but it's a crazy time in the world. That's why I put 500 in Bitcoin, because it had gone down so much. I'm also on that fence of, if Bitcoin crashes because it is funded by Epstein, I'm totally cool with losing all my money in Bitcoin. Like, I don't have enough money in Bitcoin to be like tripping that I lost it all, and I don't support that. I don't support Epstein. I don't support anything he ever did. So, if Bitcoin is Epstein's coin, like, I'm totally cool with losing all my money, because I don't support that. I don't even want to make any money off anything like that, right? However, just like stocks, and like just like people you might not like into a company, like you might not like Jeff Bezos, you might not like Bill Gates. I hate, like, if the rumors are true about him, hate the guy, but it is affecting the stock, and it is an opportunity to get in at a lower price. So again, Bitcoin goes down because of this, and then it rises, like, that'll benefit me. But again, I don't support exactly what all that's going down. So again, it's kind of like it's like a win-win for me. Again, if it crashes because it is made by Epstein, great. I don't care. Screw him, screw Bitcoin. But then if it goes up because, find out it's not, or, other etc. points, I'll make money. So in the long run, it'll be worth it. So my future predictions for March, or I guess April, and in the rest of March, I could see the market going down. That's why I got the QQQ spread and the puts, just in case. I don't want the market to go down. I don't think anybody wants the market to go down. I mean, for opportunities, I guess. But again, I wish I bought more in last year in like April. I wish I bought more during COVID. And I wish, a lot of things I wish. I wish I was more aggressive when these downturns happened. So that's why I am trying to position myself in a way where if stuff does go down, I will be able to get good companies at a discount. With that being said, guys, thank you for tuning in to episode 2. We will be back in April to check the portfolio. And again, hopefully from here on out, it'll be a little bit more more streamlined. Again, once I deposit money in, it'll be tracked to the number, to the account, to the T. And yeah, let me know what you guys are doing in these times of uncertainty in the market. And until then, peace.